From New York and on the new Hot 97 app, Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's back. And fortunately for us here at Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles and Rosenberg, he's an artist that we've known since the beginning. And so as he becomes this super pop icon, hip hop star, he still comes by our show,
That's
unlike
right.
many others.
That's
Give it
right.
up for G-Eazy.
G-Eazy.
Coming to visit Ebro in the morning.
He remembers us.
Superstar status. He ain't forgot.
I'd appreciate this. How are you,
Feels
man?
good, G-Eazy, to see you in the flesh.
In the flesh, yeah. In the
Gerald!
flesh. Feels it always feels good to be back here, for real.
No, now
even every time I walk in this building, man, I kind of get chills.
was it a bit? Our first conversations, those were a big deal for you as a young hip hop artist.
I mean, it's Hot 97.
Yeah.
I'm from the Bay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's felt a million miles away, and this is a lot of hip hop history. So
I remember when I was first guilted into going to one of his listenings at the very beginning.
yeah,
They were like, you should go listen to him. He's really good. You're really going to like him. And I was already lazy at that point. It's like, 4 years ago?
Yeah.
And that was like, G-Eazy, all right, I'll go check him out. Quiz, who's now his tour DJ,
Shout out to Quiz.
was there as well. And I went, I listened to his music. Man, there was like, the only people that were there, right away I thought it was interesting, because the only people that were there were women. And I was like, what kind of new sort of underground artist has only women at their listening?
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
Now here's the real question for you, Rosenberg.
Yes.
And the audience knows this about you. You are a hater when it comes to white rappers.
Yeah, I have a little
Did
bit
G-Eazy get the obligatory Rosenberg white rapper hate?
No, not really. There's something
Yeah,
about
really,
his...
yeah,
No,
like,
I
he
never
never
really...
really, like-
I don't know why his...
Well, he doesn't hate to the face. He's just kind of like,
So-
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
You know, he's a snob. He's a hip hop
I'm a snob, but there's something about your...
But it's okay. Like I don't know. I think sometimes we give that like the wrong impression. It's okay to have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? You guys are basically like the gatekeepers. You define like what yes, what no, and that's, you know what I'm saying, that's your job. You don't have to be friends with everybody or like everything, and I don't think that's necessarily like a bad thing. But I think politics and relationships in a way, you know what I mean, it's like it's okay to just be like, it's not personal. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, no,
You know what
and
I mean?
listen, I
Like,
definitely... Well, listen, I think we
Yeah.
had conversations about... G-Eazy was an artist that was interesting because I knew by how women reacted to him that he could be very popular. So if he wasn't good, I was going to be annoyed by him. Because if he wasn't good, but he was white and
Then
women
you'd be
loved him,
pissed.
that's a dangerous... To me, that's a dangerous spot.
Yeah.
But when I heard him and he happened to be really good, I was like, this is... Sometimes things are good, you just got to let it be.
Well, he's
And
clearly a likable guy.
he is.
and
His
I
name's
think-
Gerald, for God's sake.
Well, and I just want to point this out, and you could talk about this, and we've had plenty of conversations, but I think at this stage, with this album out, everybody go pick up that new album, The Beautiful and the Damned, the third studio album, which just dropped, which is amazing. We'll get into some songs. I think it's important that people know how important the credibility, the fabric, and the rules, I guess,
Yeah.
of the culture of hip-hop are,
Yeah.
are very important to you, right?
Yeah, the legacy and the history, period. You know, this isn't like, this is my livelihood. You know, this is my love, like what I've spent the last 12, 13 years. It's funny you said third studio album. It's not that you could technically call this a studio, but you know what I'm saying, since we were rapping after school with the little bedroom set up, you know, and little bootleg spots, it's probably like the 23rd.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
You put out that many tapes. You put out a lot of tapes.
Yo, crazy. So I was doing my signing in the Bay. The Date album was out. I spent it home. And
Where was the signing?
Amoeba in Berkeley on Telegraph Avenue.
All right, yeah, of
like
course.
where
Blondie's
I
Pizza.
used to
Did you go to
get
Blondie's
CDs,
Pizza down the
I went
street?
to Fat Slice.
Oh, okay.
I always prefer Fat Slice.
Yeah, you go.
So I'm sitting there and I'm eating my Fat Slice, and the nostalgia of like being at the same like CD store, and I'm dating myself saying CD store, like, you know, I'm saying kids don't go to CD stores
Yeah.
but that's what we did.
Well, we
And-
still call them record stores.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so I'm in there, and this guy comes up to me who's been waiting in line for like 8 hours. And there's something weird about his presence that looks familiar. And he pulls out this CD, and it was a mixtape I sold him in 2007 when I was working at Top Dog. So, you know what I'm saying, along with the food, it was probably under $10. He got the CD and the food for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I literally, something came over, I was like, I remember the dude. And he was like, you told me that you would be here. You You know what I'm saying? 11 years ago, whatever. And it's just so crazy to follow the journey, all this. So that was probably about 15 CDs ago.
Wow.
And I had $800 in my pocket. I was just like, here, just take this. Got it back. And I listened to it that night, and I was just like, songs I hadn't heard in like 9 years. And I was
Wait, and you
making all
don't
the
have
beats.
those songs
You
on
didn't
a
have
hard
them
drive
anymore?
somewhere? You
No.
needed to get a CD
No.
from some guy.
Yeah.
You saw.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he made a good investment. Yeah.
Well, it really returned $800.
Yeah. I don't know why I did it. I just had some cash in my pocket. I was like, look, I'm gonna just cop this.
I want this, right?
But I also respect and appreciate that. Like, I was just so overwhelmed. Like, wow, you really got this CD that I made when I was like 16. And I'm looking at this one, and then I'm looking at this one.
That's dope.
The one that dropped today, and I'm just like, wow.
Well, I had a moment when I was so I was flying out of town a couple weeks ago, and the Uber driver had Z100 on, and Alexa was making fun of me. She's like, "Damn, you got Z100 on? Yeah, you guys are falling off."
Washed.
I know. She was like, "You better say something." I was like, "Let him listen to Z100, all right?"
3 stars.
They're at whatchamacallit 3 stars. So it was Jingle Ball. And I'm listening, and they're like, and now our special guest today, he's here, he's gonna come out with Halsey. G-Eazy's here, blah, blah, blah. And they're all excited to interview. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I texted him. I was like, yo, I remember when you were a special guest at Peter Palooza 3 years ago. And only some people knew who he was when he came out at Peter Palooza a few years ago.
Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't like.
It was I Mean It. Was that the record you did?
Yeah.
And he came out and did I Mean It. And like some people knew it, but he was on the grind. He just wanted to come by and get a captive audience. Like he was just trying to get in front of crowds.
People that didn't. Yeah.
Yo,
people that
before
didn't
we
know
get
yet.
to the new records, I want to play that hit that kind of. Would you say Me, Myself, and I took you to that mainstream?
I mean, absolutely. That record, transcended everything and took me around the world. I was in Switzerland. You know what I'm saying? Like
That was it right there.
Like,
That was the one.
yeah, I'm in Switzerland. What? You know what I'm saying? And they're singing that. Yeah, that record did a lot. It's crazy what 3 minutes and 30 seconds can do to your life.
I heard you say, it's a question, I don't know if you want to incriminate yourself, but I heard you say something a second ago when you were selling CDs, working at a food place in the Bay Area on the come up. And you said that the person with the food got the CD.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Maybe like this.
So were you charged? Because I did this when I worked at Burger King. I'm old enough to where you didn't have the computer, so you didn't have to actually ring it up. You just called it back, and then you charged them a flat fee, and you pocketed the money.
Yeah. Yeah, the tips got rounded up. Yeah, a lot.
So basically, G-Eazy, when you was on the grind, you was taking a little extra off the top and selling CDs in there, so they would get it all for a flat fee.
Yeah, for a flat fee.
You'd be like, oh, you know what? This comes with the fruit and the
That's real
CD.
hustle.
Yeah.
That's real
I get a
hustle.
chicken applesauce. Just, hey, you feel me? If you shoot me that 10, you can get this CD with it, and you can get a soda. It's good.
So really, they wanted the soda, but you gave them the CD.
Yeah, you feel me? Throw it in there.
I just want to know, that makes you real hip hop. You're a criminal. Anyway, the new album, The Beautiful and the Damn, G-Eazy, your new girlfriend. How long you guys been together now?
What about 6 months, something like that.
Are you sure you're ready? I know you're in love, but have you thought about the fact that you're literally like sex symbol status, and you just exploded out here, Phew. And now you have a girlfriend, or have you feel like you've sold your oats enough to where I'm locked in?
I've lived a lot of life, you know what I'm saying? But who knows?
Well, then how many tours you been on?
I'm going out on tour February, March. Tickets is on sale
How
now.
many dates? How many dates? How many dates?
The year that I went the hardest, which was would have been 2016. I think I counted it, and I played 250 shows that year.
So you slept with 250 women, basically.
Why are you limiting him to one girl a night?
500 women.
Thank you.
Yo,
Come
I
on, man, I'm
respect
at
you.
750.
Yo, I
Hat checks
respect
all
you,
day.
bro.
Hat checks all day. Let's go.
No, but seriously, do you feel like you've kind of experienced that kind of part of life enough where locking in is cool?
I mean, listen, life is long, but like she's incredible. You know, she's wonderful. She's beautiful, and I think the biggest thing is having the same job. You know, being like in a similar place in terms of like relevance and how long we've been doing it, and you know, schedule wise, you know what I'm saying? We're both busy, like, and there's a lot that comes with this. So being able to like talk to somebody who also gets it fully, you know what I'm saying, is dope. And it definitely takes work, but solid.
We have a saying here on Eat Bro in the Morning, life is long, but life is also short.
That's right.
Yeah.
And being that life is long and short, you gotta seize that moment. You find an amazing woman, you know, lock in. So salute to you.
It's crazy how moments, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about it I had a bunch of mixed emotions the day the album came out, you know? And a part of me was nervous, obviously. I'm like, I hope they like it, you know what I'm saying? I hope this is well received. I hope I have a big first week. With all these things, you know what I'm saying? You want to do well. The other half is like, man, just enjoy, you know? And then I'm thinking like, it's really only 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? That day came and went already.
Yeah.
And it's like that moment. And for me, everything that this third album meant, like what you said when I first got here, that like maturation of like, I felt going in that it was time to step up and have that kind of like step forward. And man, it's just...
It feels like a step forward. This album, I do. For some reason, you know what it was? The single's really good, right? Like even before No Limit blew up, I loved it. It's just a good record, right? And then they leaked another record called The Plan that I thought was really good too. And I was like, oh, he really seems like he's making solid hip hop records, but the popularity is there now. So it felt like you didn't have to chase at all.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way? Because I remember just one particular conversation with you a few years ago where you already felt like you were ready to blow up, and you were like, you know, I'm making these songs, and like I just want it to happen. Yeah. And I remember saying to you, like, bro, trust me. Yeah. Like it didn't take a lot on paper to know that G-Eazy had the potential to be successful, right? And you're aware of that. Like you understand the advantages you have. Being an attractive white dude in hip hop is a sort of unique place to eat. As much as we've seen white rappers, you're still in a unique spot. But you let it seems like you let the music come to you. Yeah. Did you ever have a time when you were like trying to force it and be like, we got to find that single?
That's actually a conversation that I have a lot of times that I'm like very adamantly against. You can never go in the studio and say, man, today we need a banger. You know, today we need a crossover radio hit. You know what I'm saying? Today I need to be my emo introspective, you know what I'm saying, backpacker like vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need today. It's like you literally just have to just let the music come to you and just go in and just follow whatever vibe you're on. And that the difference making this album, I had the time and space to do it. Like I said, the year that I toured, playing 250 shows, you know what I'm saying? That's very few days off. That's very few days to even get your mind right to go into a studio to try to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about shows, I'm talking about like wake up, come to the station, do interview here, then meet 100 people before the show. You know what I'm saying? People crying to you saying that your music helped them when they were feeling suicidal, and you know what I'm saying? And like, you're the only thing that got me through it. 100 of those, and then play hour and a half, and then get off stage and go do another show. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really have like even the capacity to just like block out time for the studio. You know what I'm saying? When you're touring that much. So getting to spend this time in the studio, let the music come to me, and just do it right, and put my like mental energy like there with the music.
Do you feel you get the do you feel like you're in the conversations that you want to be as far as like MC skills go?
I don't know what the conversations are.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, rank. You know the rank. It's hip hop.
Like when people are talking,
so we start ranking people.
I don't think I've ever been on like an MTV list.
Right.
But I mean, it's who validates that as the criteria of like, you know what I'm saying? Or like
it's journalists, us that don't actually rap, critiquing rap.
And you're using journalists loosely as well, based on some of those lists they've done.
What about hip hop journalists?
Because hip hop is so competitive, but at the same time, like music is. I say this all the time. Like music is not like literally a sport, because there's a metric in a sport. You know what I'm saying? If you run track, you either run it this fast or you run it this fast. You know what I'm saying? Somebody beat you by a second, they beat you by a second. Like in music, it's subjective. It's to say there's no necessarily like exact metric. You can use sales, but what does sales say about somebody's credibility as an MC? You know what I'm saying?
Ticket sales doesn't work either.
You know what I'm saying? So I think really you have to, as an artist, define your own criteria and have your understanding of who you are. You know what I'm saying? For me, I always care what like the people I respect, you know what I'm saying, whether it's my OGs, like in music, or when I come see you guys, you know what I'm saying? When I talked to you on the phone the other day, like that made me feel good, because I was like, okay, if Ebro says I'm doing good, I'm doing good.
Popping.
You know? So.
Well, like for example, if Kendrick dropped his Control verse today, would you expect to be mentioned?
I would want to be on that list.
Right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, and I think you would be. I think if that Control verse happened now, you'd be in that conversation. It kind of predated you a little bit when it happened.
Yeah. Well, I want to get to this No Limit record. I think it's important too, because I think on this, I don't think because of your hit with Me, Myself, and I, and because of your fan base that's kind of followed you, that's been mostly women, right, up to this point, that's been buying tickets, this record crossed those gender barriers for you and actually put if you weren't on the radar for somebody being like, yo, wait, who is G-Eazy now? Do you feel like this record might have did that a little bit for you, put you in the clubs a little bit more, put you in the hood a little bit more,
Absolutely.
yeah,
absolutely. And it's I remember I was first going out because I never really had nothing in the clubs before. I'll be honest there.
In the Bay too?
I mean, in the Bay, yeah, but that's different. So I would go out and I wouldn't tell no DJs I was coming or nothing like that. I'd just be low key in the corner trying to do science. You know what I'm saying? Like, not tell nobody I was there, just to see the reaction. And it was coming on over and over, and everybody was, and this was going crazy. Like, when it first came out,
it took like a week to take off.
It was quick. It was very quick.
And that blew my mind because we'd never had that. So it was dope.
I've spent some time, G-Eazy, unpacking the No Limit record produced by Boy Wonder and the Plain Jane record you and I have talked about.
Yeah.
You love the fact that they go together in the club. You told me that.
I think it's a benefit to both artists, honestly.
No, it's a win-win, definitely. Were you familiar with the Plain Jane record when Boy Wonder gave you the beat?
Because
that was more of a New York record.
Yeah, I mean, they came out right around the same time, I want to say.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of...
Yeah, his was out first. His came out on the tape, I think, in June. But it wasn't a hit until around the same time.
Right. It was a slow build. It probably, if June the tape came out, I want to say he put it out in May. On SoundCloud with a bunch of other records though.
Yeah, we probably did it back in April or March.
So you've had that record for a minute too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've been working on the album for a year. I started it like a year ago today, like right before Christmas.
Yeah.
I made Summer December like a year ago.
Oh, okay. No, but I think it's dope that both artists have benefited from this moment.
Yeah.
And now fast forward, you got Cardi B on it. And then Nicki Minaj jumps on the Plain Jane, which...
I see where you're going.
Oh, really?
You're good at what you do.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more of a moment because now people are listening to both records to see, which I think is smart of Nicki to do.
Yeah.
And it keeps that conversation or competition around hip-hop going. So salute to you for, being here around this moment. You and your girlfriend have a record together. Is that on this project or on her project?
Yeah, that's on mine.
And what's that called again?
It's called Him and I.
Him and I.
It's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde, like Romeo Juliet, crazy,
What's the craziest thing you guys enjoy doing together?
Wow.
Not sexual, but
not sexually.
Not
Okay,
sexual.
Well, backtrack.
Because I'm sure that's interesting as well. And if you would like to share that, it's fine
that
too.
we do together, we one of the first times that we had we went down to get brunch or whatever, and we were like, what should we do today? It was like Beverly Hills, like Polo Lounge or whatever, like film, like two kids, you know what I'm saying, in here at like the fancy rich, like that famous like Beverly Hills shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'd never been there. And we were like, what do you want to do today? I was like, let's go to Ferrari. Like, fuck it. Excuse me. And just walked in there, and I got one like a week later. I was like, I always wanted it. You know what I'm saying? And she was mad because she wanted to get it for me. I was like, chill. So we went from Ferrari to up to Saint Laurent, like just to do it. And the kids were all in there trying to take pictures of us and going crazy and stuff like that. And so they came and they said, oh, would you like to go up to the VIP room or whatever? And I've never really got that like treatment like that. Like we're up there, it's me and her. And they're bringing her clothes. She's like, yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, I'll take this. Yeah, I'll take this. I'm like tripping. I'm
right, like
you
what
just spent
is
like
this?
30 bands like in like 5 minutes.
She got money like that though.
I mean, she works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's one of the only artists I know that like legitimately like tours like I do. And works
and
like
for
I
our
do.
people who don't know,
And,
Halsey writes her own music.
Yeah, writes her own music.
Does
Literally
every-
so, you know.
And then you guys had sex in the Ferrari as you drove up to Malibu wearing Yves Saint Laurent, and it was lit.
Yeah, and then
You know what I'm saying? It was
Saint
popping.
Laurent,
She was
and
hanging out the. Was it a drop? It was a drop Ferrari route.
Yes,
she was topless.
Yes,
it was crazy.
Well, you just had it all in.
Yes, the lifestyle comes exactly as advertised.
Right. But it is cool that you seem to be able to take those moments and be like, this is a moment.
No,
like,
it was definitely like, I felt cliche for a second, like real cliche. Like I'm in this Ferrari going up PCH to go eat at Nobu. You know what I'm saying? Like getting, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, that's a cliche a lot of people want to try though.
But I'm like cliches are a reason. There's a reason why that's a cliche because it was like
it's amazing.
It was like so incredible. I was just like, damn, if I'd have ever knew in life that it would, wherever we go from here, whatever happens after this, but I know today that this happened. You know what I'm saying? And the album will be out soon, and it was just like crazy.
Yo, Ebro had that same experience. We used to smash Paul Abdul. They would drive up in the when he was in
Paul, what's going on?
When he was in Tomorrow's Answer, his R&B group.
Yeah, it was an R&B group.
And they would drive. What car was that you were driving?
It was a Jetta, Volkswagen
in the Jetta, and they would ride around.
Yeah, man. Sunroof.
In Sacramento, they would be in Sacramento,
just Northern Cali, man.
What?
Yeah, man, it was popping.
It was a nice time.
He doesn't care.
Real quick. So I asked you this a while ago. I know that your shows in the Bay, as you just indicated, you have records in the Bay that are everywhere, that in the hood, in the club, but when I went to your last show, the last show I went to of yours here was probably 2 tours ago, and the crowd was pretty white in New York, and I think I asked you about that. Is that still the case? Like, do you find that your crowd outside of the Bay tends to be more white? And if that is true, do you find it? Is that frustrating at all, or do you hope that maybe this new record, that No Limit, will take you to a different place?
Do I? I don't really know how to respond to that.
I guess I understand.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
You're obviously happy with whoever loves your music.
Yeah, I mean, I want people at the shows, like, and
you don't say. You want people to buy tickets.
You know what I mean? And I'm from a very like multicultural, diverse place. You know what I'm saying? That was my upbringing. All public schools, like, so leaving the Bay and seeing America really for the first time kind of was like a culture shock to me. Like being in Nebraska for the first time, and I'm like checking into my hotel, and there's this like country white lady. I think I told this story before, and I'm checking into my room, and she says, "Did you hear? There's an event down the street. It's sold out. People have been talking about it for weeks." And I was just like, "Oh, shit, that's interesting. I am the event. Thank you." I went up to my room, and like being there and seeing like these people react to this music and whatever. I'll say this, like not to try to like brag to say this, but I'm just saying how typically shows sell is you got to be on it like the second the tickets go up for sale, and then they're like sold out. You know what I'm saying?
Your fans buy quick.
So whoever like moved fast and got them, and that's who, So if I don't know, that's just whoever gets them.
But
it's not like a huge wide base of like whatever. It's like.
But would you agree that the general audience in the Bay is the most diverse?
Probably.
Just because they've been on you, I'm assuming the
Bay
longest.
in LA probably.
Mm-hmm.
But that's California though. That's different.
Well, yeah, and there's the thing that we always talked about, which is I don't blame white artists for having a largely white fan base. Like that's but all the artists that I've enjoyed, no one set out to be like, certainly Eminem. I mean, the opposite of setting out for that.
Public Enemy outside of New York had a largely white.
Right, exactly, and there are plenty of black artists in the exact same category.
Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah, you would go to a show in most places.
Ice Cube.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's not a new phenomenon. Like I know Nicki Minaj made a stink. Was over the weekend.
Yes.
Where she was saying that the top artists are all like white in rap or something like that. And
that's what I thought you were going a minute ago. That's what I was saying. I see where you're going with that.
Oh yeah. No, I left that, but I think that's surprising to people only because they haven't been around hip hop long enough for this next iteration of hip hop being the most popular music. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because there was a time where while the artists' faces at the top of the charts were all black or whatever, you go to the shows, it's predominantly white audience.
But here's the difference, and this is what makes it really interesting, is that when you have that, you have black artists kind of relating a black experience to a white audience, right? I was that white audience. And so if what you had was a white audience that was like, I'm interested in this other culture. And that really shaped the way a lot of people grew up socially, politically, because they were like, we're hearing the black experience. Where it gets interesting, and I understand what Nicki may be seeing there, is if you look at the top of the charts now and all the artists are relaying a white experience to a white audience, well now, if that happens for a long extended period of time and it grows more and more and more, that changes the music fundamentally. Like you can't escape that. You know what I'm saying? Like for G-Eazy right now fits into a landscape with a lot of other artists. He's one of many. But if all of a sudden 9 of the 10 artists all looked like G-Eazy, that to me, that is something that's a little scary in terms of what the future of hip hop would look like.
Well, I think one of the things I've enjoyed about watching hip hop, I guess, I don't want to say correct itself, but balance itself, is the authenticity of the artist is always in question in this music. So if things become label propagated, corporately fabricated things, I think hip hop will inherently attempt to correct itself. Now, radio, mainstream radio, the charts, you know, whatever is pushed out there by those that are in control of that, you know, I don't think hip hop's necessarily in control of that or sit in the driver's seat. I think that's going to happen, what is going to happen. But I do think those of us that love this music will always go, nah, that shit is, that's that bullshit. No, that's that real shit. Nah, he's paid his dues.
I think there's a reason.
Paid his
I think
dues.
there's a reason G-Eazy hasn't really caught any hate.
Right.
Because I think people.
You go check his credentials in the Bay, people be like, nah, it's G-Eazy. That's love. It's all good.
He's himself. B, he's been putting in the work for years, and most importantly, he can rap. So you put that combination together, and I think you're
now. If what
shape.
you're pointing out, if you want to go farther, Rosenberg, and this is the scary piece. What you're really trying to say is the powers that be don't enjoy that their little girls and their little boys want to be like the black kids from the hood, right? That's a real conversation at the highest levels, where it's like, wait a minute, our teenagers want to be like the kids from the bad neighborhoods? No. We're not gonna have that. We're gonna figure out a way to create things that keep the images that we're okay and accustomed to them being comfortable with. And they create those images, and that's why, now we're going far, that's why net neutrality is an important conversation.
Right. Yeah, we gotta slow it down here.
That's why Disney buying Fox is an important conversation.
All right, so G,
it's because when these big conglomerates, you see,
beautiful and the
they don't want to go
we have
that
G-Eazy
real,
for limited time though. We can't go net neutrality right now. We have G-Eazy for limited time. We already went too far to be bad. Hey, speaking of which, though, did you hit any?
And that's the beautiful and the damned. You see what I'm saying? It's the gift and the curse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you hit any political? Do you hit any political stuff on this album?
Yeah.
What are your? Can you give us? I don't want you to give your songs away, but what are some of the things you kind of
There's
go
a
after?
record called When Love Is Gone.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, I mean, as you watch everything that's going on, and you're this artist with this platform. Whether or not I had a platform or not, these are things that like you see and you feel and you talk about as a human being watching the world right now. Like that's the conversation. That's where life is at. That's how shocking every time you turn on the news is. And then you say, okay, I'm in this position with this platform, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I use this? What can I do about it? You know what I'm saying? This dialogue is important. This conversation is important. I think speaking from the heart is extremely important as a human being, especially as an artist with an amplified voice holding one of these, you know? So I talk about it on there. I talk about as much as you can fit into a song, you know, from that perspective, from the president to, you know what I'm saying, cops killing black people to, you know what I'm saying, racial inequality, gender inequality, you know, bigotry across the board. And, you know, I did the record with YG, the remix to F. Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're part of FDT. Yes.
And I brought YG on tour with me. And we was touring all summer. We'd kick it every night. And we'd talk about this. And when I get on stage, my production, my backdrop is this huge LED wall. And that whole song, it would just be a blaring red square with the letters F-U-C-K, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm talking about I'm on stage in front of 15,000 people in the middle of America. And it's me and YG rapping to each other. And every time I do that song, I'm worked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like screaming those bars. And every single night we'd do that song. And I remember I would look out into the crowd and I would be confused when I would see people get up and leave.
Wow.
And feel some type of way. And I understand it from, I'm forced to understand it because he was elected president and there was enough people who voted for him. When you see the number of Americans that voted for him. But what is 50 million people mean? Or what is 150 million or, you know, whatever, like how many millions of votes that he had? You see that number, you're like, what does that mean? When you see a face, there was one of those people and they're like angrily like looking at you like and leaving and you're just like, what's wrong with you? Like, what do you see that I don't that makes you like think that this man is like not even like that man is the devil. Like, what did you see in him that made you want to support him and vote for him and think that, you know what I'm saying, what he stands for is okay?
And they were obviously like, you can relate to them on some level because they're at your show, right? So they like hip hop.
But
There's
here's the
something
twist.
we have
Plot
in
twist.
something, but
Plot
like,
twist. Unfortunately and fortunately, they may have come to your show or liked you. And we talk about this with Eminem, right? And Eminem's had to talk about it in his music of the people who just liked me because of my appearance.
Yeah.
But you don't like me because of where I come from or who my friends are or the people that I love or my experience. You're just looking at a face and a skin color. And it works. I mean, there's black artists that have people who just like them because they're black. And there's white artists that like, you know, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they were at your show.
You're going to have different people like different people for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be, I just like this one song he does.
Right.
Or I like him because he's from the Bay and he's the symbol. You know what I'm saying? He's the biggest one to make it this far for this long or whatever.
That's right.
There's going to be some people that, like you said, that I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Because I'm white.
I'm an attractive white male. You know what I'm saying? Like that
They don't even think about it. They're
You know
just
what
they're
I'm saying?
attracted to it.
And then like even subconsciously, it's like a weird thing. Like they think they like it because there's a reason why there's an album cover photo like on CDs. It's like image has always been associated with like why an artist sells or not. You know what I'm saying? And you as the listeners, relatability, and you associate, you know, what you like with the whole entire experience. Sometimes you like an artist's music and then see the video and you know what I'm saying.
But that's what they look like. But the reason I'm pointing that out is because that's the twist. That person's looking at you like, wait, I came to the show because I thought me and you was the same.
Yeah.
Right.
But
We're
it's
not the
weird
same.
because I think more than anything, like what I have been able to do is bridge a lot of gaps and bring a lot together, and do songs with a very eclectic range of people. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed to collaborate with a very eclectic range of artists. And naturally there's gonna be, you know, some you get exposure. Say I get a fan like, you know, who heard the song I did with Raekwon, you know what I'm saying? And then he comes to the show and sees, you know what I'm saying, that like, or here's some other stuff that's totally not for him, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody, I get a fan off doing a song with, you know, Britney Spears. Yep. And then they hear this and it's like, well, that's not what I came for, you know what I mean, or whatever. So with that, like trying to like, sometimes connecting those dots is gonna be fall off. But
and you've
I
seen
just
it
looked
though.
at it like if that's what's falling off of this, then I didn't need
But you
like,
saw it, you'd have a moment where you'd be rapping and you notice in the crowd like that one person's not singing along anymore. Like I lost them. They're like, how dare you say F the president? How dare you?
Well, it's real easy. Fuck Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Well, I know. We used to do it. I think we did it every day for a good little while.
Yeah, it felt good.
It feels good to say. It feels real good to say.
It feels real good.
Whenever you want to get that off, you just feel you come
you
out
can
of
call. You actually, the phone lines
Can
are
I just
always
call
open
in
for a
and just
good
say fuck Donald Trump?
That's right.
I feel better already.
Right, it feels good.
Yo, let's get to that record off The Beautiful and the Damn so people could get some of this music from you. And,
Which one? Which one? I want to play
the
Charles.
one he was just talking about, where he talks about when love is gone.
We should also play that Charles Brown, that E40 joint.
Yeah, E40
I wanted to call
fine.
it Charlie Brown. Just start calling it that. Copyright.
Why is it called that?
You got
by the
blocked.
way?
Charlie
No,
Brown.
but why did you call it Charlie Brown?
I was just associating myself with Charlie Brown. It's kind of, there's a record on my last album called Sad Boys. Same kind of vibe.
You'll never kick the football.
You'll never kick the football.
Charlie Brown always had a problem.
Yeah.
Nothing ever worked out for young Charles.
Yo, when
He's a
Flex
little
says
emo.
that. Remember, Flex said that about
He
Clue.
said at the Clue.
He said at the
You'll
Clue.
never kick
You'll
the football.
never kick the football, Charlie Brown. G-Eazy.
G-Eazy, man, love, bro.
Thank you,
Thank
bro,
you so much
always.
for the honest dialogue and just
Yes,
continuing to just
for
be an
real.
artist that we can, you know, not only celebrate but you know, count on to keep this hip hop thing on its square. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. You know what I mean?
You're a good man, Charlie Brown. And thank you for taking DJ Quiz on the road, because now when he started going out with you, you know, it's nice to get
Does
a
he
little
still
DJ
talk
gig.
to you? Quiz still return your text?
Of course. Shout out to Quiz, got a beautiful baby.
Yeah,
and,
man. Congratulations, DJ Quiz, for real.
And I remember when he started going out with you, I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, let's see where this goes. 'Cause it's a grind. You first start going out with the artist.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen.
No.
And and now you turn around. I'm like, I hit him yesterday. I was like, yo, bruh, listen to this album. Y'all are about to be doing a different kind of touring.
Does
Yeah,
Quiz
yeah.
get like a set? Like he gets to like go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How'd
you guys meet?
Say that, man, because I think about this. Like when you start touring, it's not sweet. It's not plush. You know what I'm saying? You really gotta like. You know what I'm saying? When you're grown men, like, squeezing into a 15-passenger van, like, sharing hotel rooms, some people sleeping on the floor, you know what I'm saying, getting paid barely enough, you know what I'm saying? You started questioning it. You started to be like, man, I love you, but I don't know if I'm in it, bro. I don't know if I can do this. Just as a man, like, we've been out 6 weeks, you know what I'm saying? I just haven't seen home. I'm making way less money out here doing this, being miserable, than I would have if I would have just stayed home and had a, you know what I'm saying, my job and, you know, been with my people. So it's like, there's times when it's like that reality hits, you know, there's a clock that's ticking. And I just think about it like a plane on a runway. Like, this better get off in time, because otherwise, you know,
you're gonna lose people. Yeah, and you're definitely gonna
lose people. You know, and everybody who stuck around through it, everybody who, you know, rode in vans, or when we finally got our first bus and it was breaking down every night, but we was just happy to be on a bus, and we was still crammed all in there, and still, you know, to now, it's I appreciate that loyalty and, like, sticking around, because it takes a team.
Well, and you helped me out, because let's be honest, Quiz was under my wing, and no one under my wing goes anywhere fast. So, like, listen, Quiz was such a talented DJ, and he honestly, I never thought he got the looks at the radio station that he should have. We all thought he was super talented, and he just was in that list of DJs who would pop up on weekends, and then he starts messing around with the artist, and you don't know where that artist's gonna go, and now. Yeah. Things have turned out pretty good for everybody, it seems like. Y'all gonna be all right. You should stick with the music thing, G-Eazy.
For sure.
Gerald, I think this whole
he's all right from here on out.
I just think ride the music thing. I don't know if you were still considering going back to school or, like, maybe becoming a doctor or anything. I think you should do the hip hop thing. It's going good.
G-Eazy, ladies and gentlemen, love, bro. Thank you so much. Give it up for him one time.
Beautiful the damn.